Good afternoon. Welcome to our Wednesday afternoon home buying seminar live Wednesdays, usually at 5 o'clock, sometimes at 4, usually at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific. Live stream to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, whatever else you got. Rumble, goes on to Rumble as well. I'm Bill Gross. I'm a broker in Los Angeles, California, at Bill Gross Probate on social media, along with my colleagues.
Yes, Patricia.Castillo. Hi, everybody.
Very modest, from the 562, from the Beverly Hills of 562, Downey, California, and our good friend
Gustavo Segura, coming here from Orange County.
the OC behind the orange curtain. How about those interest rates, huh? Woo!
Yeah,
Hope
they
you had your
keep on
seatbelt on
knocking
today.
us down.
Hope you had
They
your
keep knocking
seatbelt
us
on
down,
today,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Got hit one more time.
So it's interesting, Gustavo. I'd love to get your input on that, but it's only total of 0.35 over where it was, the low point of the year a few weeks ago. Question is this the beginning of a move up, or is this just an adjustment and we're widening the bandwidth, or at the high end of the bandwidth? We don't really know that, right?
Yeah, and I keep on thinking about we talked about inflation, how inflation kills the mortgage rate, right? It really hurts us. And the inflation now is at 3.2, right? It was a year ago, it was 9.1. Then we talk about like shelter costs, right? And inflation on that. But why is the rate still staying up high, right? Why is it doing that? And I think that's the sticking point, is like, what other elements are the Feds looking at? If it's unemployment, if it's just the job market, those other things that they're looking at in order to say, we're going to start having a slowdown, we got to back off of it, and they haven't been able to say that. And now we're thinking that maybe in September, there's another hike, maybe possibly. So it's a little bit of mixed emotions, and I see the interest rate here, and I'm looking at it as like, if someone is losing weight, maybe the first pounds are really hard, easy to come off. But now as you're getting, into those last few pounds, it's a lot harder and it's a lot stickier. It's harder to get rid of those. And maybe at this level at inflation, 3.2, they want to get it down to a 2.5. It's going to get harder to get there. Something's going to have to break a little bit more, like the unemployment.
Gustavo had to go with the weight analogy. Gustavo, some of us have a tough time with that. Apparently you don't. But okay, so here's a graph you wanted to show. So yeah, it might be a few pounds, it might be more. You sent me this graph to present today. What do you think this shows us?
Yeah, so this is home ownership, the appreciation. So this is the appreciation over the decades. So I was thinking, and I was looking for information about, yes, interest rates are at 7, over 7, FHA, of course, you're below 7, but is buying still good? Is it meaningful? Should we still do it, right? Everybody's probably getting that question asked. So I found this data, and I looked at it and I analyzed it, and I was looking at how, look at all this. It's basically, I did the numbers, and it was about 81 years here. And out of those 81 years, we had 73 years that were positive. There was only one that was a 0% appreciation. So this basically says that you have about a 90% chance that you're going to be in a good investment as you hold on to your property. You can see there last year we had a 6% appreciation. This year, we talked about how, it's showing between 5 to 10%. We're halfway through and we're already showing those numbers. Yes, there are going to be situations in 2008 and all where there was that crash, right? And we had multiple years that it was a bad appreciation levels. We lost value. But when you take away those elements, those years, you see that traditionally owning property, having that home over 5, 10 years, 15, you're going to be in a much better spot. Rates are going to go up and down through that. They're going to cycle. So when you're looking about, is it still a good time to buy? If you can do it and you can buy, it's fine, because later on when the rates drop, we're going to have a upward pressure on the appreciation of those houses. It's going to get more competitive, and it should drive the prices up.
Well, I think what you're saying, another way you're saying this, is that while inflation might be going up, once you get a loan, you've locked in your rate and your payment, but the house will continue to go up in value. I
And you're
think
going to
what's
be able to
really
refinance.
maybe even if you're not able to refinance, that's a whole nother pot. But if you're not, if you're paying a 7.5%, 7% interest rate on a mortgage, but it goes up over time, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%, you're going to come out way ahead. The thing that,
Yeah.
that people miss is they hear, well, if the value of the house only goes up 6% a year, I'm paying a 7% mortgage, but you're missing, if it goes up 6% the first year and 6% more the second year, it's gone up like 12.5%.
Right.
Or
You got that
12.1 or
cumulative.
12.2%. And it accumulates. That's why
Mhm.
3 years it's gone up 39%, even though it was 10, 19, and 6. It
Yeah.
goes 10% and then 19 on top of the 10, and then 6 on top of the 10 and the 19.
Yeah.
And so what happens is once you get in, if you can afford to get in, and hold on for the ride, you have the chance to appreciate that. That's why homes value double every 5-7 years on average or better.
Yeah.
But the
Right.
mortgage
And
payment, worst case, stays the same. Best case, they go down, you refinance. They go up again, down, you refinance, up, down again, you refinance.
Right. And we know what the opposite of that is. It's renting. You're not going to get any appreciation on that, and you're not paying down your loan either. So there's a double loss there. The amortization that you're paying off, and then the appreciation that you're gaining, that doesn't happen anymore. So
Right.
as a homeowner or as a potential homeowner, that's what you want to take a look at. It's like, yes, I can buy a home. Is it still the right time? Is it an opportunity? Take a look at historically what has happened, and then we can look forward into getting you into that loan. Yes, the rate may be high right now, but there's going to be a better situation here 12 months down the road, 18, 24 months later.
I think that's why what do wealthy people do in times of inflation? They don't hold the money in the bank because you get nothing on the interest in bank, and it goes down every year by the inflation. They buy assets that are going to outstrip the cost over time, and assets like gold, assets like land, assets like farms. But homes have consistently gone up over time. The numbers you're showing are phenomenal. So it's a great advertisement.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going. So
Yeah, especially
I
in our
wanted to show something encouraging for the home buyers besides the rates.
Yeah, I think the challenge is the bar got higher. For all those buyers who are complaining about how competitive it was, it's going to get a little less competitive, which means if you can get in now, you'll still get the benefit. This is the time to buy. I can just say personally, I'm buying real estate with my investment money. I'm buying assets that are going to offset, but I'm also buying things around the house like extra toilet paper, extra Kleenex, whatever we use. We're buying 3 and 4 of because everything's going up in value so quickly. We might as well hold on to. Well, that's just 6% per year, 5% per year. I think the inflation is being understated. I think the real rate of inflation is more than that. I remember yesterday, my wife came home. I don't know if you guys ever eat Sunkissed raisins. When I was a little kid, you get the big box
Oh
of
yeah,
Sunkissed raisins.
I love those. I
And
put them
then,
in my stuffing every year for Thanksgiving.
well, I don't know what size box did you put in, those small snack ones or the larger individual serving ones?
No, the larger. Yeah.
So now the large individual serving are about the same size as the snack ones. She came home with this box like, what the heck did you get? I didn't want the snack size. I want the regular size. Those are the regular size. They're thinner. They're smaller. So while prices of the raisins didn't go up, what you get for the dollar has gone down.
Sure.
But if you can get a house and lock in the price, housing prices aren't going down, but the mortgage then is locked in unless rates go down, you can refinance.
Right.
So
And I think going into the home buying scenario, once a home buyer is, in the pre stages of thinking about buying a home, especially right now, who are you buying the home with? Are you buying the home solely on your own? Are you buying the home with, a friend, a sibling, a spouse? Those are the things that are also important to look at because this is a long-term commitment. And let's say you were going to buy a home with a good friend. Maybe there's 2 single parents that need a place to live and they can put their funds together and comfortably pay for the mortgage. That's a great solution, maybe between now and the next 5 years. But also thinking ahead of that down the road, if one of those owners decides to possibly move out of state or move in with family, whatever the case may be, can you afford the mortgage on your own? Otherwise, you're faced with either having to earn more money by getting another job or a side hustle to be able to make that payment on your own, and possibly even having to buy out the interest of the other party. And what you were just talking about right now with appreciation, between now and the next, 5 or 10 years, the home and will start to appreciate. So those are things to consider as well when you're looking at buying a home, is the longevity of the relationship with the person that you're buying the home with.
The longevity of it. I like it.
Yeah,
It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people that have bought homes with, friends, and before you know it, maybe circumstances change with their life, with their job, and it really causes them to make that shift and reevaluate where they're living. Do they need to keep paying this mortgage? Is it maybe time for them to move on and get out of that scenario? And those are real life problems that come up in the future.
Hey, if you're watching this live
Yeah.
on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, feel free to put a comment in the chat box or Twitter. We'd love to put them on. One of my friends, Charlie Kaufman, said the government can't print land. We're talking about the value of assets before. That's correct. That's why the government would love to print more land. They're going to print more money. And one of the protections is housing, because people are going to want to have houses. And if you lock in your rate, then even if inflation goes up, what happens is the housing prices go up dramatically, but you're locked in with a lower payment. So thank you, Charlie. Nice to hear from you. Very nice. Government can't print land. That's from a prominent local attorney. Thank you. But if you're watching live, feel free to put a comment in, say hi, check in, and we'd love to have you participate.
Yes, let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah, please feel free. Okay, what else is going on? Patricia, what's the pulse on the market today?
Well, I mean, it's still been pretty busy. I have 4 escrows going on right now, and just closed one yesterday. You and I have a deal together in escrow, and it's a busy time. I think that buyers that are serious about buying, that have put their finances together, that have their documentation together, and they're ready to move forward, those are the buyers that are ready to move forward with the purchase. Even if there is an adjustment in the rate, whether it's 0.25% up or down, they're still in that position to buy. Now, if you were a buyer that was just barely making that pre-approval in the lower 7% range, then this is going to be a challenging time. You might have to wait and see if the rates drop a little bit to basically get your pre-approval, updated, or save a little bit more money. So those are some of the things to look at as well, are what are the money saving opportunities that you can really use in this situation when you're trying to purchase a home. It's a really good habit to start creating, so that when you do buy your home, you're already in that mindset of cutting back on eating out, cutting back on the Starbucks, cooking more at home, planning your days out. If I'm going to be gone all day, I don't necessarily like to eat out that much. So I'll take a snack. I'll take some nuts in my bag, some bottled water, fruit, things I can eat on the go. And so those are little changes that are like baby steps to helping to curb back all of the spending that we can easily do when we're out on the street. We see something, grilled corn on the street. We want to get one of those, the fruit stands. Right now it's hot during summertime. You want to go get a cold drink. But these are all things that add up over time. So it's really important to look at your statement. I used to check my bank account every single day because I had been hacked in the past a few times. Now I check it like every other day, but just to keep track of the spending that you're doing. Because if you're just swiping your card when you leave the house, it's very easy to spend $100 and not even realize that you just spent $100.
Yeah, I have my bank set up for every credit card charge for me and my wife comes in my email every day. I purposely look at every single charge. Keeps me from being hacked. Keeps me from watching what I'm spending on. My wife sees what I'm spending on. It forces to pay attention to those things. It's so easy just to swipe a card, or I have Apple Pay on my watch. So easy to use my watch, but I want to force myself when things were really tight with us, we got rid of everything. And then when COVID happened, we did it again. We got rid of everything.
Right.
We don't have cable TV. We don't have any online services. I make coffee at home every day. I've got a lot of money in the bank. I mean, I can afford compared to most people. Our housekeeper comes to our house once a week, and I'm embarrassed how little we pay her. She comes with a Starbucks drink that must cost $4 or $5. I don't drink at Starbucks. Where I live, we're a block and a half from Pico Boulevard. There's people who work at the dry cleaners. They can't get paid that much. They all drive pretty nice cars. Even the housekeepers drive nicer cars than my paid for car and my wife's paid for car. And I'm not, I'm not judging the life, but I am going to say you can't buy a house. You can say you haven't paid the price to buy a house and you're not willing to. And be honest with that, if that's the choice you want to make. The problem is most people don't make the choice. They make one buying decision at a time that's a mistake and goes the wrong way. And so I would just say to you, you have to choose where you want to be in life. And if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish amazing things. Absolutely. Okay, I bagged on Starbucks. I bagged on buying new cars. Like I went to buy a Tesla. I loved engineering and electronics. I worked for an aerospace company when I was in college and out of college. And I followed the Tesla and the SpaceX. And instead of buying a Tesla, I bought stock in Tesla equal to a Tesla car that's worth a lot more than a Tesla today. So I don't drive my Tesla. I have it in my Vanguard account and enjoy its appreciation. So not that I couldn't afford it. I could buy it I could sell the stock and buy it for cash and get the upgraded battery and the this and that I would have got. But I'd much rather have the stock personally. So you want to buy a house? What price you willing to pay to make it happen?
Exactly. I mean, everything is an adjustment. Don't think of it as like a sacrifice. I mean, think of it as an adjustment. You're making an adjustment to your daily life, your daily habits. And just like what Gustavo was talking about earlier, with weight loss, if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to cut back on certain things that you're consuming. Same thing with your wallet. You want to make sure that you're preserving as much cash as possible so that it's working towards your goal.
Well, there you go. So, we're all, I think, on board with the idea of saving and doing what you have to do to get in the game. It gets easier over time. Once you have a house, once you have money, it gets a little easier. You can lighten up a little bit. But in America, you can achieve whatever you want if you put your mind to it. So we're here to encourage you and support you along the way. I guess it's time to kind of wrap up. Gustavo, last words here for this week. That buyer who's been shopping and noticed his rate went up a little bit. Boy, if you bought it a few months ago, you would have locked it in already. And if you're not pre-approved, get ready. It might drop back down again, right? Tough.
Yeah, I do think so. I think that in the next 60 days, we'll see the changes. I think it will come down. What I've been talking to a lot of buyers is don't get discouraged. That's why I've been looking for this data. I said, look, here's where the data is at historically. Imagine in 2009, 10, right? People that were buying there, why would I buy? But then 5 years later, they were able to recoup that and gain more, So it's always an opportunity. So I try to make sure that as a buyer, don't lose sight of what owning a home brings. Personally, lifestyle, you can remodel, you can change things. Plus, long term, it's going to help you better than renting. So keep your eye out there. Keep shopping, and of course, getting pre-approved.
Fantastic. Patricia, final words for our watchers today.
Yeah. So one thing that can help our viewers is you can use an online home affordability calculator to get an idea of the purchase price, what those payments look like, because that's usually the question is, what is my payment going to look like? If the rate is 6%, if it's 7%. So I like the online calculator because you can adjust the interest rate yourself. You can adjust the interest, the down payment. So if you're putting down 3%, 10%, you can look at the interest rate and move the needle to 6%, 7%. And really come up with a realistic idea of what that payment's going to look like, including your property taxes and homeowners insurance. So it's a great tool to use, and it'll just help guide that, that idea of your payment so that you can take a look at what it's going to look like as far as a monthly mortgage payment.
Well, and if you want to know what it's going to cost, you also could probably talk to a lender. Anybody you would recommend them call if they're interested?
Of course. Mr. Gustavo.
Okay, good. Let's make sure we do that because some of these, I don't know. I
Yeah.
get sucked into the online lender calculator. Sometimes I just want a quick number. I'm talking to somebody on the phone, and every time I ever go in, it's like now they want my name, my phone number, my email. I'm gonna get called by 50 different lenders. I just
Yeah.
want the numbers. So you have to make sure you bookmark it. If you find a calculator, make sure you bookmark it because most of them are just,
Yeah.
I think, come
Yeah.
ons. Or call Gustavo, and he'd be more glad to run the numbers for you and help you find the right number for you.
Right.
Course.
Good. Gustavo, thank you. Patricia, thank you so much. And for those of you
Yes.
watching, thank you for joining us. We do this
Thank
every
you.
Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Reach out to us if we can help you. Invite your friends, ask questions, hit the chat box. Have you published a 1031 exchange guide for sellers? I've not published, Charlie and LinkedIn's asking me, have we published a 1031 exchange guide for sellers? Answer, no. I got one from a 1031 company that I give out to customers sometimes that's real good, but I don't have a 1031 exchange guide. If you're interested, Charlie, let's talk about that maybe offline. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Have a fantastic week,
Bye.
and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.